Hello, my sweet and precious students. I'm delighted to see you. If you are here, it's because you are starting algebra in the fall and you are wanting to practice beforehand. And for that, I am so proud of you. This is so delightful that you're joining me today. I also realized in our last video that I said I was going to do fractions with operations, addition, subtraction, and then I totally spaced doing multiplication and division. So this is just a little bit of an add-on for that first video. Let's talk about multiplying and dividing fractions. Yes, the reason I skipped this is because it's way easier than adding and subtracting, in my opinion. Adding and subtracting, you gotta find that common denominator, you gotta add things up. No, multiplying. And all you need to know to multiply and divide fractions is only multiplication, okay? So multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom, bam, you are done. Now, you can reduce your fractions afterwards or you can reduce them before. My dog chewed my chair, and so I end up getting my sweater stuck on my chair a lot. I love my dogs, but they're adorable. Okay, so and then I have this perpetual need to put my knee up. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna talk about this guy, 4 9ths, 5 7ths. Like I said, multiply straight across the top, 4 times 5, 20. 9 times 7, 63. I do these by myself, so if I ever make a mistake, you gotta let me know. Now, so that's all it is. And now I know I can't reduce any of these because take a look here. I know 4 is 2 times 2, and 9 is 3 times 3. If I take these down to those prime numbers, 5 and 7 are already prime. They're 2, 2, 5 upstairs, 3, 3, 7 downstairs. There's nothing upstairs and downstairs that I can cross off. My dogs are scratching at the door. I don't really know what's going on. Okay, so the next one is going to be this guy here to the third power. To the third power means 3 times. So we are going to do 2 to the third, 2 to the third, and 2 to the third. So what that means is 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2 is 8. Bam, we got that guy right there. Let me scooch this guy over. 8, and then 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So really, when we're doing something like this, we're just saying, hey, it's 2 to the third and 3 to the third. Remember to distribute this guy down here and to down here. You don't have to rewrite it like this every time. You just need to remember, though. All right, let's take a look at this next guy. 48 over 2 times 10 over 500. Now, first things first, you can totally reduce these before you go multiplying. I love when we have zeros on the end of a fraction. And guys, this only works with zeros, but you can just lob those zeros off. Don't do it if it's like a 5 or a 2. Won't work. But lob those zeros off. Essentially what we're doing is just dividing by 10 on the top and the bottom. Because now what I have is 1 and 50, 48 and 2. Again, 48 and 2, I can cut those in half. Divide this by 2, I get 1. Divide this by 2, I get 24. Now, just to clean this up a little bit, that's 24 over 50, but I am not done because those, you guys, are both even numbers, which means they can be divided by 2. Now, reducing fractions, yes, you could totally find the least common or greatest common factor that they have, and you could divide the top and bottom by that. Find the greatest common factor of the numerator. Find the greatest, I can never remember that. So what I end up doing is 2, 3, and 5, and sometimes 7. You really got to know your multiples of 7 here. This is where it's helpful. But we know something is divisible by 2 if it's an even number, right? So if it ends in an even number, like these, we can divide by 2. Something is divisible by 5 if it ends in a 5 or a 0. Like this is divisible by 5, but this is not up here. Something is divisible by 3 if you can add them together and that number is divisible by 3. For example, 2 plus 4 is 6. Does 3 go into 6? Sure does, 2 times. That doesn't even matter though. As long as we know that 3 goes into 6, 3 is going to go into 24. So that's a fun little way to kind of learn how that works. And I will I've got a video up there. It's called Divisibility Rules. And so if you search on my page, you can find, or on my channel, you can find divisibility rules, and I go into a little bit further of that. Anyway, these are both even, so we're going to divide them 24 over 50, cut those puppies in half. That's what dividing by 2 is, and we get 12 over 25. Now 25 is just 5 times 5, and there's no 5 hidden in this one, so that is our most reduced fraction. All right, let's look at this guy. Again, cross-canceling is our favorite here. 4 is 4 times 1. 8 is 4 times 2, right? Now we've got a 4 downstairs and a 4 upstairs. Cancel those out. So what we have upstairs is 4 times, and when we cancel something out, we don't have a 0 left, we have a 1. So 5 times 1, which is 5. Downstairs, I have 2 times 7, which gives me 14. double check that we canceled everything out and that we've reduced it. And it looks like we can because this is 2 and 7 on the bottom. There's no 2 or 7 up top. Good work. Let's look at this one. Ooh, this is another one we can cross cancel. 9 is 3 times 3. 20 is 5 times 4. Sometimes you need to break down your 4s to 2 times 2, but I don't think we need to in this one. So let's just double check. 15 we know is 3 times 5. Okay, I'm going to rewrite it so you can see what this is. Upstairs I have 5 times 3 times 5. 5 times 3 times 5. Downstairs I have 3 times 3 times 5 times 4. All right, lob away. Let's cut these guys off. 5 and 5, 3 and 3, 5, 3, 4. I don't have anything else that I can lob off. So upstairs I have a 5. Downstairs I have 3 times 4, which is 12. That is my answer. All right, let's talk division. Remember what I said at the beginning? I gotta tell you guys, I'm the laziest teacher ever. So I will always find the easiest way to do something because I don't want to have to work harder than I have to. So in this case, we're only going to learn division. We're only going to learn multiplication. We don't actually need to learn division because all dividing fractions is multiplying by the reciprocal. I always spell that wrong. Reciprocal. Whatever. It's not spelling tutoring. Okay, so multiply by the reciprocal. You may have heard this in school as keep, change, flip. And great. I'm glad you learned it that way. Scratch that. Because when we get into equations, it's a lot easier if you can remember never divide fractions, always multiply by the reciprocal. What is the reciprocal? Flop that puppy around. So 2/3 now becomes 3 over 2. There are some tricky ones though. So like 2/3, the reciprocal becomes 3 over 2. 1/7, the reciprocal becomes 7 over 1, but we don't usually write 7 over 1, so it's just 7. Alternatively, 5, the reciprocal of that, remember, you can turn anything into a fraction by putting it over 1. Flip that around, we get 1/5. Catching on to what a reciprocal is? Don't say opposite, say reciprocal. So we keep this first one, 3/8, right? And then we don't divide, we multiply by the reciprocal. Flip those puppies around, 3 over 2. Then we look to see if we can cancel anything out. 8 is 2 times 4, so we got 2, 4, and 2 downstairs, 3 and 3 upstairs. Can't cancel anything out, so we get 9 over 16. That is your answer. Excellent. Don't divide fractions. We multiply by the reciprocal, just like that. All right, looking at this guy. 9 times 3, so that's 3 times 3 times 3, right? There's only 3's upstairs. 4 and 14, I can't really do anything with that, so can't cancel anything out, so I'm just going to multiply straight across top, straight across the bottom. 14 times 4, I totally left my calculator upstairs, and so we're going to do this a long way. 4, 5, 56, 56, and there is your answer. Remember what I said about 3? 7 plus 2 is 9, and 3 goes into 9, so 3 is going to go into this number. Does 3 go into 56? Well, 5 plus 6 is 11. 3 does not go into 11, so 3 is not going to go into this, which we knew because we would have been able to cancel it out over here. However, just wanted to show that. All right, talk about reducing. We talked about this in the last video, just quick friendly reminder. Again, if it ends in zeros, make your life easier. Lob those off. Now we have 36 over 54, which is a little bit easier. 36 can be broken down into 6 times 6, right? Now, granted, 6 can be broken down into 2 times 3 and 2 times 3, but we're going to make this a little bit easier because I happen to know that 6 goes into 54. Guys, this is why your multiplication tables are important. If you do not know your multiplication tables, promise me you will go out and like play some game and memorize them because, oh my gosh, when we get to factoring, it is like so painful if you don't know your multiplication tables like that. So learn those. You'll thank me later. 6 times 9 gives me 54. Lob those 6's off. I've got 6 and 9. Oh, this is where it would have paid off because 6 is 2 times 3 and 9 is 3 times 3. Look at that. Boom, boom. Lob those guys off. I have 2 over 3. 2 over 3 left. All right, same thing over here. Lob those zeros off. Get rid of those. 54. Okay, we just did that one up here. It's 9 times 6. Downstairs, 72 is 9 times 8. Lob those 9's off, and I have 6 and 8. Now, 6 and 8 can be broken down. This is 2 times 3. This is 2 times 4. Lob those 2's off and I get 3 out of 4. Excellent. One more refresher on this guy and then we'll be done. Remember, this is 7/3 times 7/3, which means we get 7 squared over 13 squared. 7 squared we know is 49. 13 squared is 169. If you're not going to take me seriously about learning your multiplication tables, the bare minimum, you gotta learn your perfect squares up through 15. That is way more helpful. I remember 13, so 12 squared we know, it's always the one that was in the corner of your multiplication tables, 144. 13 squared is 169. 14 squared, flip that around, you get 196. That's how I remember those. Swap those two numbers and you've got the 13 and 14. And then 15 squared is 225. You don't really need to know up through 20, but some teachers like you to do. But at least know your perfect squares up through 15, okay? All right, guys, that was multiplying and dividing fractions. I thank you so much for joining with me today. I will get around to throwing a worksheet down at the bottom so you can just practice and make sure you know what you're doing. If you have any questions, leave a comment. That will help tremendously, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, guys.